Hello, and welcome to Truth Speak. I apologize, it has been a while since my last post. I've been rather distracted with work and personal things, but today will be quick. I may end up posting more videos later today, but to continue and to piggyback essentially off of the last episode, Christianity Misunderstood, allow me to add a couple more verses to explain this particular point. And there's Hebrews chapter 11 verse 6, and it says that, and without faith it is impossible to please God. And it goes on to say something to the effect of, you must believe that he is, and that he is the rewarder of them that seek him. And that is crucial, and I will lay it out to you here in a little bit. But I'm trying to build for you, in essence, why Christianity is so misunderstood. And then we can go into detail in further episodes. But the next verse I want to bring to your attention is Hosea chapter 4, verse 6, in which it says to the effect that, for my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. And it goes on to say that they reject knowledge, so they are no longer his priests, something to that effect. And I'm doing this on purpose because this leads into my next point. I want you to go and read these verses and these chapters for yourself. Not just the verse in isolation, but go read the chapter. And it will lend perspective to some of the things that I am talking about and why things become so misconstrued and misunderstood. It's because people, when he says lack of knowledge, I believe that he may directly be referring to how individuals just tend to take information without searching out that information for themselves. And the information that they hear and the information that is given to them, no matter the medium, are they taking due diligence to back it up, to give further evidence for it? An example of this is in the church. If the pastor says something, you cannot supplement the pastor's words as God's words. He is still but a man, granted with inspiration from God, but you should always check his words against God's words. That's the only way that you can build a rubric for yourself to understand where you stand. And that's important because if you look at it, and this is what I mean by Christianity misunderstood. Number one, the top tier and foremost, to be a Christian, one must have faith. No if, and, or but about it. One must have faith. And one way of defining faith is hope in things that are not evidenced. In essence, if you don't believe there's enough evidence for God, you still believe that there is one. So it negates, that section alone negates you continually debating the scientific facts that exist here and there, which may prove or disprove. He's already telling you that it requires faith to believe in him. Number two, if you have chosen to believe in him and you've received his spirit, the fruit of that is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, temperance, meekness, all of those things that I mentioned in the other episode. Again, this is an opportunity for you to check yourself and understand where you stand. And then it says, for my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. And I think that is directly, I know this for a fact, that people tend to just recite things. And this isn't just in religion, this is in society at large. I mean, how many times have you heard that religion is the cause of all the wars that we've had and things like that, rather than people who misuse religion to cause wars and to control and manipulate people. But the only way that you can be manipulated, the only way that you can be controlled, is if you are ignorant to the facts, or you choose to remain ignorant to the facts, or you lack the willpower to search out this evidence for yourself. that is crucial, and this extends beyond religion. This goes back to all of the things that I've talked about leading up to this, which is why I waited to come to religion. I want you as an individual to search out information that you don't understand. Gain your own knowledge and learn how to apply it. There is another verse in the Bible, and again, you know, I'm going to bounce back and forth between secular and religious here, but it says, if any man lacketh wisdom or knowledge, let him ask of God, and he will give to him freely. Now, you can easily search and find that verse. I'm not sure whether it's in Proverbs or Ecclesiastes or something. But at any rate, if you're a Christian and you don't understand something that maybe your pastor has given, or you find it to be not in concordance with what you've read in other chapters, ask and pray for understanding. And let that guide you. Don't let just whatever your pastor says go. Granted, he may be imbued with the Spirit of God, but they do occasionally fall, and they do occasionally misquote things. So by all means, you should still build your own relationship with God. And this lays the groundwork for some of the problems for some of the branches of Christianity, which we're going to get into later. But in essence, this point is very important because it separates a distinction that you must have a personal relationship with this being who has been deemed the Creator. His words are described in a book called the Bible. And it is your faith that allows you to believe in Him. And if you believe in Him, these are the things that should happen as a result. All of those things are together. They are not separate. And so when something happens and you have a situation like Westboro Baptist, who arguably incite hate and violence wherever they go, well, not violence per se, but strife and controversy, you must question at that point where the intent lies. If I know something will make you mad and I purposefully do it anyway, there's multiple questions that could be asked at that point. Now, granted, it could be perceived as justified or unjustified, but as a Christian, if you are held to the standard that He has set forth for you, if it doesn't equal love, joy, peace, long-suffering, temperance, you should check yourself. I leave you with this today. The next time that somebody quotes a verse to you, or the next time that you hear something that somebody says what the Bible says, or repeats it as God's word, go and check for yourself. Go and read the entire chapter. If you've got time, read the book. But usually the chapter will suffice, because once you read the chapter, it further clarifies some of the things that could be confusing. But people focus on the one aspect, and they hear a verse and they want to believe it, so they block everything else out. And that ignorance, that lack of knowledge, is in essence the basis for the control and the misinterpretation that exists today. Have a good day.